Hi, welcome everyone to the session. And as always, I would want you to go ahead and make sure that you are having a notebook with you because today we are going to share a lot of information which would be coming in your way. So let's go ahead and start with this session. I just wanted to think about this. If you dragged yourself through another day just performing fine, telling everyone you're fine, while something inside you is still feeling that, okay, I'm not fine. You just woke up in the morning and you're already feeling that there's a lot which has been left behind. And if you or if you used to love doing certain aspects of things, and then now you're feeling, oh my God, what's happening around? You're not feeling energized at all and you're feeling very numb. If all of these signs are there for you, I just want you to go ahead and type yes in the chat window. So I would know that, yeah, there are some of these signs that you are really going through and some of those pointers which are coming your way. Let me go ahead and see what's happening. Yes, I see there are a few of you saying yes. There is certain of these things happening. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Devi. That's absolutely right. Because today, thanks, Priya, because today what we are going to go ahead and talk about is few of these things which are going to help you work on releasing the aspects. So that's the reason I said I would want to make sure that you have your notebook and pen ready. Because if you just kind of imagine this, that in the morning, when you set your alarm and when the alarm goes off, your first thought in the morning is not like, oh, wow, it's a good morning, but it's more like a list of things that everything you did not finish yesterday, everything which you want to complete today. It's like, oh no, I have this list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that I have to complete today. And that's how if you're starting your eyes day, even before opening up your eyes. So you have not yet opened your eyes, you're still on the bed, you're switching off the alarm, and then all of these things are running in your mind. You've already started your day with something which is already behind. And that's not a morning. I want you to note that that's not a morning because that's more of a survival mode with a snooze button on for you. So you're going in that survival mode with the snooze button right now with it. And while I'm kind of checking on the energies of the people who've joined in, I can sense that a lot of you are probably going through this. I see a lot of people will be like, oh, yeah, that's absolutely right. That's what happens. Or maybe some of you won't even remember that, okay, how do I wake up? Is it like, oh, the alarm is on, I put it off, and I just rush. I rush to complete things. I rush to get away. So, what we are going to talk about today is it's, of course, not a motivational talk that I'm going to do today, but I would be talking about a lot of practical things which I have gone through and I have implemented a few of those things. So I'm going to show you exactly what has happened to me as well and how it has helped me to rebuild myself from the ground up. Because I had this question in one of our sessions where people were like, okay, Poonam, how do you maintain yourself? How do you stay so motivated? How do you stay so consistent with doing things? We have seen you since last 20 years. We have seen you last 15 years. We have seen you since last 25 years. So people who have met me at different parts of my life, they are still like, okay, we saw you then and we see you now, and still things are going on. Still things are connected. You've been able to consistently go ahead and move on. So great, thanks, Priya. That's absolutely right, because those were set of questions that my students, my clients have been asking about, and they've mentioned about it. And that's the reason I thought, like, okay, it's important for me to also unveil certain set of things that have been there, because I have been on the similar place like yours, or like many of you are still on the place like I was earlier. because there are things which are happening, there are things which are going on, and that's why I said that this is exactly for why it is. But let me tell you, when we're talking about burnout, what it actually looks like. So let me tell you that when I'm talking about the burnout, what it actually looked like in my life, it's a real one. Because there was a point of time where I was a person who had it like together on paper completely, the career, the responsibilities, the reputation of being dependable, people coming to me with their problems, and I was a solver. I was able to help them. And one morning, when I woke up and I was like doing my daily routine work and having a cup of tea, I realized, and the realization was such that I was just standing there holding the cup of tea in my hand for almost maybe 20, 30 minutes. But it was like not thinking, not resting. I was just blank. And remember, it's just like that phone battery. When your battery is just 1% and you're like, you have nothing left to run. And then, like, my friend came in and she was like, what happened? And I just looked at her, I smiled, and I was like, probably nothing. And that was the moment when I knew that this is probably not tiredness, but this is where I was going into disappearance mode. And it was not that I've lost something or there's nothing happening around, but I did not have like a very dramatic breakdown kind of things that most of the people think about. But what was happening was that it's like a high functioning burnout is the most invisible kind. It's sometimes that you keep showing up, you keep delivering, you keep smiling, you're in meetings, you keep helping, you are doing a lot of things around, but still inside you, you are feeling that there is something which is missing. And if any one of you is feeling like that, you know what, I'm doing everything. I'm doing the household work, I'm doing the office work, I'm taking care of people around. If you are feeling that way, that you're doing everything, and from the out everything seems to be perfect, but inside you're feeling that there's something which is missing, if that's the kind of thing that you are having, I would just want you to go ahead and say yes. Go ahead and acknowledge that yes, I am that kind of a person where a lot of things are happening, but I'm still feeling inside me that there's something missing. And I see a lot of you. That's right, Vikrant, Priya. That's true. And what happens, what that was the time when, like, sometimes you all would also be doing it, like at midnight around 11 or 12 in the midnight, you're searching on the internet and finding out, why am I so exhausted, what should I do? And the results will come like, eat more vegetables, take rest, drink more water. And sometimes what happens is, like, when you listen or read through this, you're also like, oh my God, but I don't have that energy to get up and even get a glass of water. I don't have that energy to even kind of think of eating more vegetables or planning out my day because my whole day is so exhausted. So remember, burnout just did not drain the energy. What it also does is that it just takes up the identity. So for me, at that point of time, it was like this burnout did not just drain my energy, but it took my identity, it took my clarity, and it took my sense of self completeness. And I did not know who I was anymore outside of my responsibilities, my roles, and everyone else's needs. And that is the part that nobody will tell you about burnout. It's not just exhaustion or tiredness, it is a loss of self. And I want you to note this down very clearly, because whenever you are feeling this kind of a burnout, it's not just a drain of your energy, but it may also be related to losing your identity, losing that clarity, that sense of self completeness, because Nobody will tell you about this, about burnout. It's not just exhaustion or tiredness, but it is a loss of your own self, where you have lost your own identity. So if any one of you have felt like this and you're showing up today to listen to this, to understand this, then let me tell you that it really takes a lot of courage to admit, even to yourself, that you're not alone in this. Remember this, you're not alone in this. And I would really like to know if you're going through this and if there is something like this happening around you. Because that first step is the acknowledgement. That self awareness is the key thing that I want you all to really think through and acknowledge and write it down for yourself. And burnout is not just what you think it is. There are a lot of people who just sell a lot of dangerous things about burnout. And that, uh, and in my experience, that dangerous thing about burnout that we have heard from so many years is about that you are tired because you are doing too much. And the solution is do less, take a rest, take a holiday. Yeah, Priya, it's like as if you're talking to yourself, right? So, how many of you have taken a week off, right? Many of you would have taken holidays. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm tired. Let me go and take a break and come back feeling more exhausted. So, a real holiday, and you come back feeling more exhausted, not because the holiday was bad, but because the moment you stopped running, the reality of your life hit you all at once. And the holiday did not fix it, it just delayed it. And how many of you think about, like, oh, if I go to the holiday or take a break, there'll be so much of pending things that I'll have to come back and do. So it's better not to take the holiday. And if you are that person for whom a holiday has never truly fixed how you feel, then that's about very important thing about the burnout. So just go ahead and let me know that if you have taken a holiday, but you still have not felt that rejuvenation, or you're still feeling that, oh, I'm back to that same loop. If you have felt that, then just go ahead and type yes or acknowledge it that yes, I have been that person. Thank you. Because here is what your burnout is actually telling you, it's not a rest deficit, it's a meaning deficit. It's a misalignment between the life you're living and the person you actually are. And I want you to really note this down very, very carefully, because the burnout after taking a holiday, it's not just a reset, or it's not just a rest deficiency. But what it is, it's a meaning deficiency. It's a misalignment between the life you're living and the person you actually are. So even after taking a holiday break, you still feel that you're not revived. Uh, you're not kind of present. Yeah, I hear you, Surya. I just need vacation after vacation, right? Because it just doesn't feel like coming back, because that's why you feel that your burnout isn't going to increase. So burnout is not your enemy. It is the most honest advisor for you. And it's the most honest advisor you will ever have for yourself. And for years, you have been ignoring it. Yes, you have heard it right, because burnout is not going to be your enemy. It is your honest advisor. And for years, you have just been ignoring it. So, the number one signal that the burnout is trying to give you is your values and your life are out of sync. So you're spending the majority of your energies on things that drain you, not things that really matter to you, to your soul. Work that means nothing to you. People pleasing that was probably never yours to carry, but obligations you agreed out of fear, or maybe you had no choice. Just think about the Sunday evenings. It's just around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and then that's something which starts coming in, like, oh no, the weekend is ending. I just don't want the weekend to end. And that's your soul signaling you that the life waiting for you tomorrow does not belong to you. So if you feel at any point of time on the Sundays that, oh my God, this weekend should never get over, it's a sign that your values and your life are out of sync. And that is your soul signaling you that the life is waiting for you tomorrow. It does not really belong to you. So I want to make sure that if you connect with this, go ahead and write down that that's a signal one where your values and your life are out of sync. The second signal that your burnout is giving to you. So let me know how many of you are here with the signal one. Just type one. Just go ahead and type one because I would know that. Are there anyone? Thanks, Priya. Thanks, Sonia. Thanks, Nisha. Thank you. The signal two that your burnout is giving to you is that your nervous system is trapped in survival mode. So your body has been running on cortisol and adrenaline for so long that it has forgotten what it feels like to be at calm, what it feels like to be at peace. And rest does not restore you anymore because your system does not know how to receive it. So that's a signal too that your nervous system is trapped into the survival mode. So it's like while you are just lying down on the bed to go ahead and sleep, but you're feeling anxious. You're there on the bed to go ahead and sleep, but you're feeling anxious. Your brain is running, thinking about, oh my God, tomorrow I have to write an email, or tomorrow I've got this 10 things to complete. And you sleep with all of the to-do lists in your mind, and your sleep, the full night's sleep leaves you just tired because your nervous system is stuck on, and rest is not the switch off, and the rest is not really switching off the things, what's happening in your mind. So that's a signal too. So if any one of you going through that, just make a note of it. Let me know if you are going through this, because as we're going to progress through, we will be working on the healings around this. Yeah, I see a couple of you have mentioned too as well. Thank you, Preeti. Yeah, because running behind material goals is not a problem, but the problem is that you get yourself trapped into a survival mode, which is kind of leading your cortisol levels, your stress levels to go much, much more higher. So that has to be a balance in terms of how you are working in just not rushing in behind the survival mode. The signal three is the most important aspect, which I have also felt many times, is that you have lost the thread back to yourself. And this is the deepest one. It is you have lost the thread back to yourself. And as I said, this is the deepest one because somewhere in the rush of your life, the career, paying of bills, the family, the image that people have kind of expected from you, you have stopped asking to yourself who you are. Your roles always gave that answer. And then burnout stripped that roles and left you with a terrifying blank face. So, like, who are you when nobody needs anything from you? This is the most important question that I want each one of you to answer and make a note of it is who are you when nobody needs anything from you? So when there is no meeting, no task, no child to parent, no person to take care, no person to support. Who are you then? And if the answer is, I don't know, if nobody's asking me for anything, nobody's taking care, or I'm not taking care of anybody, I don't know. Then let me tell you, that's not a small thing, but that's everything. Let me know if you felt that the third one was like a hit on your face. Oh my God. I've never thought of it. Who am I when nobody needs anything from me? When there is no meeting, no calls, no tasks, nothing to do. Who am I then? So I want you to just go ahead and make sure that if you have connected with one, two, or three, or any of these, or all of these, then just go ahead and type all or put in the number. Okay, yes, it was. Identity question is the biggest one. Thank you, Sonia. Yes, you need time for yourself. That's absolutely right. But when you're spending time for yourself, what is going on for you? Are you able to, are you still kind of thinking about a lot of things which are happening around? So that's a question that you have to ask yourself. Yeah, that's there. That's true. So, because what I'm talking about today is very, very important, because when you start understanding this aspects of your burnout, it becomes easier for you to go ahead and heal them. It becomes easier for you to go ahead and address them. Because until now, many times we've just equated burnouts to just tiredness. And then taking rest, having a break, eating healthy. Of course, that things help, but that does not always 100% solve the problem, because it's still going back into the same loop. And that's where today we are getting into a little deeper aspect than just the superficial part of the things. And the three deepest reasons that I feel is, or that I've seen when I've been talking to people, is that, and especially for people who are between 30s and 45, between that range, this really hits a lot, because this is not just random. If you are in this stage of your life and you're burning out, then there are definitely these very three specific forces that are working. And the first one that I call is working is the arrival fallacy. I call it as the arrival fallacy, because say in your 20s, achievement felt really like an electric. It gave you that kick. Every promotion, every milestone, every box you ticked felt like an evidence you were on the right track. It was something which was kind of like, wow, yes, I'm on the right track. I'm doing this. Let's move on. And then one day, maybe as you grow older, at 32, maybe 38, you have arrived. You've got the things. And then you're quite confusing. And there's a voice whispering in your mind, is this it? That's it. Because you've reached to the peak, and then you're coming to a stage where it is going to be more of a subtle aspects. And then your brain is saying, is that it? See, when you were in 20s, so much of energy, so much of things, and now what has happened? And when that comes to your mind, you feel ashamed of that voice. And because who are you to feel empty when you have so much? So you have ignored that part. You set bigger goals, you chase harder, and you do more. And that goes like a cycle loop. You start putting bigger goals, you start chasing them harder, you do it more, and then you start figuring it out that, oh, my body is just going into a more burnout more. Yeah, that's right, Priya. That's the adrenaline rush. And then your voice gets more louder. I had one of these clients who was in a very senior role position, and she worked for a company for almost 12 to 13 years, and she reached a very senior role in this 12 to 13 years, and people around her were many times always envious. They were envying, like, oh my god, how come within 12 years she's got so much of success. And then one day when she was promoted to the next level, uh, in her organization, which she was almost kind of chasing for 3 years, because every year they had that interview, and then every time it was like, okay, there's something which is missing, and she worked upon it, and then she got further. She just sat in her car, and then instead of feeling very happy, she started just crying about, and it was not from joy. But then there was a sudden hollow realization for her that it still wasn't enough, because her goalpost just moved again, and she was exhausted, tired from running, because now she's moved to the senior most position, and then the next one was like, oh, let me move ahead. Or just think of people who are here in business, because if you have built a business and you have sacrificed your weekends, the birthday celebrations, the health, but finally you look around and you find that you're probably surrounded with just an empty office, feeling that, oh, probably this would have felt different. So, in the arrival fallacy, it is the belief that the next achievement will finally make you feel whole. But it does not, because the hunger was never for the achievement, it was for the meaning. And I'm repeating this again. In the arrival fallacy, it is a belief that the next achievement will finally make you feel that complete, that whole, but it is not, because the hunger was never for the achievement, but it was for the meaning that you're bringing into your life. So if any one of you felt like this, just go ahead and type. Thanks, Priya. Yes, there are many of you who are realizing this. That's happening for you right now. And as I said, it's more about the realizations that I'm talking about here today. It's not just motivational talk, but it is something which is where, if you're able to go ahead and think about it, it's something which will help you more in understanding it. That's right. Yeah, that's absolutely. Many parents tell their kids that, okay, you know what? First, complete your 10th, your board exams are over, and then you get into the college journey starts, and it'll be all fine for you. But then when you get into college, then it's the 12th board examinations, and then it's your graduation, and then it's your career, and then your business. And every time the goal is shifting. And you're now at this level where you're still having certain goals and you're still moving further, right? That's absolutely right, Vikrant. Yes, Sonia. Yeah, even now, that's why I said that this is something, it's a part and parcel of our life, and it keeps moving, moving, and it keeps growing on again and again, right? So that's the arrival fallacy, because we always feel the next station will bring us the best. It brings the best, but we don't feel satisfied. We still feel like, oh, there's something more beyond. So that's one part. Then the second aspect of the reason is the invisible load. Now, this one lives in the gaps between your calendar entries, is what I say. It's not the meetings, but it is remembering that for example, your child has a dentist appointment, and then maybe your mom needs a prescription picked up from the doctor, or you need to travel in between. And there is a colleague of yours probably going through a very difficult time, and you probably also want to go and meet them. So it is just like that emotional regulator which is running in your household, the one who senses the tension before anyone else and manages it, and the one everyone instinctively turns to. So it's like I say that it's never truly been off duty. Yeah, that's right, Priya. It just feels like in a loop. So it's never truly that you have been off duty for this. I'll give you an example. Like many times when you're in a dinner or at parties with your friends, you're supposed to be present there, having the fun, enjoying the dinner, enjoying the party, but your body is present here, but your brain is running quite in the background. There is a lot of program happening where you will be like, oh, did I reply to this email? Is everything fine at home? Did my child have the food? Did they complete the project? Or, oh my God, I was supposed to call this colleague of mine who was suffering from some issues. And so even though you're physically present there, mentally you are traveling to a lot of these places. And that's where I call it as the invisible load that's happening around. So am I being present enough right now? And am I being good enough of a person that I am present and just looking at it and doing enough? Am I enough in what I'm doing? Even now, when you're here, there might be certain set of people who might be thinking a lot that's happening in your mind behind. And one of the things which I have got very lately from a lot of people is that they're not able to sleep soon, or they don't get asleep. The moment they fall on the bed, they're like, okay, we're just lying and we're not asleep. We don't get sleep. So there are people who are lying on the bed. It's 11:30, 12, 1. They're scrolling through the mobile, looking at the reels, probably watching certain Netflix series, because they feel that that's the only time in the day that belongs entirely to them. Except even then, it doesn't really, because you are just numbing out your brain instead of taking rest. And you know it. You can't stop, because stopping means feeling it, and feeling it means that you're admitting how depleted you are actually. And this invisible load is an exhaustion that does not show on your calendar, and therefore nobody, including you, takes it seriously. I'm here today to kind of bring that awareness to you. Just please start thinking about this. If you are the person that everyone leans on and rarely gets leaned on yourself, let me know. Because it's just like, you know what? It's just like that you are that caregiver. You have that high empathy towards people, but when you need it the most, probably there is nobody around you to help you. There is nobody around you who is kind of doing this the same for you. And that's when you start feeling that I'm hitting a lot more. And what is the kind of life am I living? So if you have the arrival fallacy or this invisible load, just make a note of it. And the third important aspect, which I was talking about, is also about you losing yourself, which is called as the identity erosion. So this is the slowest and the most devastating thing, because identity erosion does not happen in one moment. It happens in thousand tiny, tiny moments across a decade, across a period of time. Like, for example, if somebody had this passion of doing painting, and then it was a painting class that you stopped going to because you were too busy. Or maybe you loved music and you stopped going to the music class because it felt like very tiring for you. You've just gone away from your friends, because you never had time. The version of you who used to really get excited about things, who used to have a lot of opinions and passions and a lot of liveliness, has quietly, slowly stepped back, because you wanted to make more room for the responsibilities, for the work, for the things that you've taken up. You know what you liked, you know what really lit you up. But as things progress, you have buried them under the weight of who you needed to be for other people than just for yourself. And then burnout comes, and that strips away the roles and leaves you with a question, have for which you sometimes doesn't do not even have an answer for years. And that's why I said that you need to ask this question: who am I when I am not being useful to anyone? And I'm bringing this point again because this is a very powerful reminder for each one of you: is who am I when I am not being useful to anyone? And for many of you, as I said, the answer may be I have no idea. And that's not a failure, that's a beginning. Because that's a beginning for you to go ahead and understand what is that you will want to be like. Hmm. See, one of the other things that I wanted to put as a checkpoint is that just go ahead and name a single thing that you did in the week that was purely for yourself, not for your family, not for your boss, not for your appearances, not for your friends, not for the people around. Purely just because you love it and it makes you happy, you have done it for yourself. And if some of you are answering, you know, when I think about it, I just stopped mattering it to myself somewhere along the way because I've never thought about myself. Then that's the burnout which is happening to you. It's not just the tiredness. So identity erosion is why rest does not fix the burnout. You can sleep for weeks and weeks and for hours and hours, but if you wake up and still don't know who you are outside of what you do for others, you will go straight back to depletion of your energies. And that's the most powerful thing that I want you all to really go ahead and work it out. But yes, the question is, how do you work it out? And I'm going to share the painting, yoga, attending your sessions. Thank you. That's really nice. Priya says my dance class. And of course, I would really want you to go back and make sure that you're spending your time in doing these activities because that's something which is going to really help you all. And now I'm going to just kind of talk about this mm, thing which has helped me, and I call this system as the renew framework or the renew system, because this is what has actually rebuilt me. Because whatever I've spoken to you, there had been times where I've gone through the same things, where I had that identity erosion, where I had that arrival fallacy, where I was carrying a lot of invisible load. It's not that I don't carry it now, but it is like the impact of it on me has become so less that it just doesn't feel like it exists. But there has been a time where it has been carrying a lot so many times. So I want you to kind of make a note of this, because this is a renew framework which has actually worked for me. And as I said, most burnout recovery fails because it only addresses one layer. The wellness industry says meditate more. The productivity world would say optimize your routine, and maybe the medical world says take a break. And as I said, none of these are wrong. This definitely helps you, but none of them alone may be enough. You need to get into a little bit more. And I have kind of worked around this, which is the renew framework for me. And I want to share it with you. The first R, the R stands for restore the body. E stands for empty the mind. N stands for name your identity. E stands for establish the boundaries, and W stands for widen your vision. And I'll talk about each of these right now. So when I talk about R, restore the body first, it's like you cannot just think way out of a depleted body. So recovery has to begin from the physical part of the body, because yes, if you're undersleeping, if you're underhydrated, if you're having a lot of caffeine, if you're skipping your meals or you're not having healthy meals, not moving your body, that definitely may not feel good. And let me tell you, like there was a time where I used to just sleep 3 to 4 hours, and I used to have a lot of tea, not coffee, but I was more of a I'm still a tea fan, but like almost I would say 7 8 cups of tea, and not small, the bigger ones. So my water was replaced with tea, and of course, scrolling through or just reading some random things. So I thought I was an efficient person, but what I realized is that I was dismantling my own recovery every single day. So the physical reset is not complicated, but it is a non-negotiable thing. The first one that I'm talking about. Yeah. So of course, try to make sure that you're having a good sleep. So just before your bedtime every night, make sure that you are having a relaxed state of mind. You can play on some soothing music or maybe some chants that can help you. Make sure that as per your body needs, you are having enough water. And of course, people who know me from my earlier days, when I started transitioning it, they're very well aware that I always used to kind of carry in my bag 2 liters of water, because that was like a measurement for me. Like throughout the day, by the time I'm back home, these 2 bottles of water needs to be emptied. Means I'm emptied as in I need to make sure that I'm drinking that. So automatically the tea got replaced with water. And movement and exercises are the most important things. So make sure that you are having a routine set for yourself in terms of your exercises. I keep my routine in the morning where it's like morning 6 to 7. I kind of spend my time in the gym, workout, walks, run, swimming. So make that a part of your routine every day, because your physical body is the most important thing, and that is what is staying with you till the time you're alive on this planet, right? So for the body, for being alive in your body, pick up any of these. Like some of you have said that dancing, yoga. So dancing, yoga, spend time for doing that. Make sure that you're eating healthy without your phone, and person who deserves to eat a lot in a better way. So one of the simplest things that I introduced, and this may sound sometimes like a very small thing, I used to like in the morning, I start off my day with drinking a glass of warm water. That helped me to heal myself. And of course, as I said, as I always say, kind of charging your glass of water. So if you're here, I would just want to make sure that you're charging the glass of water whenever you're drinking with just a few seconds with an intention that I thank this water, I thank myself, and this water is helping me to rejuvenate, to heal my body. And then you can just go ahead and drink that water. Make sure that you're kind of doing that part. Similarly, you can give the energies to the food, put with an intention that I bless this food, I thank this food for being here. And the moment I eat, or anyone who's eating this food is healthy. So that simple signal will start sending to your body, your mind, that you matter the most. You come first. And this is a small, tiny action that I want you to just start doing every time when you start drinking water. Just 1 second of charging it and charging your food with that positive things. The second part, which I'm talking about, is empty the mind. So, as I said, burnout is not just physical exhaustion, it is also the cognitive overload. So, your mind has been carrying too much for too long with nowhere to go, just that the invisible load that we were talking about. So just imagine that your brain is like that desk, which is kind of cluttered, and you just have to kind of release the worries and unprocessed feelings. And I know you all would be like, yeah, saying is so easy, but my mind does not get empty. There's a lot of thoughts coming in, and that's so natural. Now, let me tell you, this is the most, and I keep repeating this most of my sessions, and I will repeat this again because this has been the most powerful technique that I have always used is that whatever is happening on your brain, dump it on the paper. And you will always see that I have my diary, I have my book, and I have these pages, like I have loose pages, which I always keep near my desk, which is always here on my table. So that whenever I feel that my brain is getting overloaded, I just take the paper and write that down, things down. And the moment that I do that, it helps me to solve the problem, or it at least helps me to find the solution. So whatever is happening on your brain, dump it on the paper. And that's the reason you would have seen that every session that I start, I always tell you that please make sure that you have your notebook, please make sure that you have your pen, because whatever realizations you're having, whatever learnings you're having, you can go ahead and dump it on the paper, because you don't have to worry that, oh, will I remember this, or I have to remember everything. So, journaling for recovery is not about beautiful reflections, but it is about evacuation, getting out of your nervous system and onto the page. So, I do that every day, every moment. It's always there. And of course, you would be like, oh, when I'm traveling, I may not have my paper. We all carry mobile. And in the mobile, there's a notes section. So you can go ahead and dump it. You can do it as a voice note as well for yourself. So please make sure that you empty your mind, because that's where the things are going to help. Because that will not kind of lead you to, that will also help you answer one of the most powerful question, which is, what am I carrying right now that is not mine to carry? Yes, a powerful thing. What is that you're carrying in your mind right now that is not yours to carry? Because there might be a lot of expectations, there might be a lot of things that are happening, and you would really want to get out of those. Now, as I said, these are all important aspects, because the moment when you are able to get these things out, your healing expedites. The third one is name your identity. And this is where the real healing begins. You cannot heal an identity you have not named. And the work here is simple, but of course may not be that easy. Now, what I want you to do is, on a piece of paper, you go ahead and write down all the roles that you're playing: a parent, a partner, a daughter, friend, employee, caregiver, child. And who are you underneath each of these roles? What is the value that you're bringing? Now, not that what I was raised to value or what looks good, but what do I value in this? What do I love in this. Like, for example, if I just give an example, that if let me think of this example of one of my client. Yeah. Now she's a client who has spent almost 10 years of her building a career in finance, and I asked her to write down three things she would do if nobody was watching and nobody was judging. So you can also do that. Three things that you would do if nobody was watching you and nobody was judging you. And for my client, it was really very difficult because she had never thought of it. It took a little time, and then she wrote that, you know what, I love painting. So she wrote paint. She said, I love the beach, I love the sea. So I want to be near the sea. And she was like, every day I have such a tight schedule and a routine that morning, like 4:30, the alarm goes off. I have to just wake up whatever time I've slept. So she wanted to sleep without an alarm. And then when she wrote these three things, the paint, be near the sea, sleep without an alarm, she started realizing that this is the kind of person she wanted to be. The person is not gone, but a lot of these things you have buried under. And naming her is the first step to finding her again. So remember, recovery is not finding a new version of you, but it is about bringing what is hidden inside you out. So you perform what you are the best at. And I know there's a lot of, as I said, today's session is not just a motivational thing. It's not at all motivational. It's all about the experience that I've gone through. I've worked with my clients. It's more about your awareness, because the more you become aware of these things, the faster your healing is going to become. The faster it becomes for you to take things better. That's nice, Preeti. Today you listen to your favorite song, which you used to listen in the past, college and office time. Wow, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Preeti. Thanks, Priya. So that's like kind of very important because, as I said, otherwise we just got lost. And then the E is about establishing your boundaries. So here is the thing, nobody wants to hear about burnout. You will go straight back to the same conditions that created it the way. And healing requires changing what you tolerate, and that means creating boundaries. So it doesn't mean that you have to be aggressive, but you need to create your boundaries. You need to be honest and you need to align with it. So the way I would look at it is that boundaries is a part of a burnout recovery. Like somebody comes and tells you, please come, can you do this task for me? And you will be, and you can create the boundaries and like, no, I cannot do this right now. I need to leave work because it's already 6 p.m. and I will look into it tomorrow. I'll need maybe an hour to complete this. Or you go ahead and tell in your family or your friends that, you know what, there is this 1 hour of mine on Sunday that's entirely mine, and nobody is allowed to kind of come and disturb. So this is not being selfish, but you're becoming structural so that you let people know that this is the boundary and this is my time. This is for me, and there is nothing that I would tolerate in it. The biggest thing for me was because I have been working with so many people in terms of healings and coaching and everything. So whenever the phone used to like a message used to come in, and I used to always be like, oh, is there somebody who really needs my help right now? So the biggest thing for me at that point of time was the habit of checking my phone even at midnight. So I had to put that boundary for myself, saying that, okay, if I have to start healing people, if I have to be there for people, I have to also create my own boundaries, because I also need the time to rest. I also need the time to have a break so that I can recover and heal much more, because that's going to help me to strengthen my energies, spend my own time for my own practices more, and take things forward for my clients, for my students. And That was in no way that I was pushing back to the people and saying, but then that was a boundary that I created for myself. And slowly and gradually, people around have really understood it. As I say, that whatever things you're going through, just go ahead, message me at any point of time. And you are definitely going to get a response for it for sure. So just kind of things. But as I said, it's about teaching people how to treat you, how to treat yourself. So you have a boundary, you have your mirror, you have your recovery happening around. So that's the important part, that you're creating your own boundaries. You understand you're spending time for your own self, doing things that you love. At least out of this whole 24 hours, spending that 1 to 2 hours for yourself is very, very important, because that will kind of double your, I won't say double, but it has almost 10x my time for my own recovery and for my own healings. The next one is about widen your vision. Now, when I say about this, this is a final layer, and it is the one that makes recovery permanent. So, most people recover from burnout into the same life that created it, same job, same pattern, same relationship, same self abandonment that would have happened. It may be slightly better sleep and a new planner, but widening your vision means asking the most uncomfortable question: what do I actually want my life to feel like? That's an important question, which I want each one of you to also answer. What do I actually want my life to feel like? It's like not the achievement version, not the Instagram version, not the Facebook version, but what is that you would like to feel for yourself when you wake up on a Monday morning, when you wake up on a Tuesday? Maybe there's nothing special about that day, but what would it feel like to be truly well, to be in your body, to be present, to be doing what you really love, to be doing that means something, to be in relationships that feel nourishing, to be just yourself without apologizing for anything. And that will be the vision of your feeling, and the version that is kind of your compass. The routines, the boundaries, the identity work, all is in that service itself. So that's the renew framework that I have kind of implemented in my life. And you can just kind of, if you feel like, this recording is always available, so you can come back, listen to it, and define your own renew things that you will be implementing. And just as a takeaway from the session today, I would just kind of tell you is like, uh, you can anchor your day, right? It's like all of that framework that I've spoken about, somewhere or the other, you may be actually already implementing, but it's in bits and pieces. But I want you to kind of think about these kind of anchors that you can bring in for your life. It's like saying that under 45 minutes across the whole day, you're able to define your own recovery phases. Because if I tell you, you know what, your recovery is going to require 3 to 4 hours, and you'll be like, I don't have time to get my recovery done. So, what I want you to think about is the small, consistent, everyday things that can help you, because that's the formula. It's not intense, not perfect, not consistent. And that's exactly what I kind of teach in my sessions when I'm teaching about the energy healing work. And in my energy healing work is what exactly I talk about: how to implement even a minute of a day, and doing that one minute throughout the day. You're just getting into that practice. So, like, for example, you can create an anchor, say in the morning, like that morning hour when you wake up, because morning belongs to you, it's entirely to you. So, before you pick up the phone, you are kind of putting up a practice for yourself, maybe 1 minute of stillness, no news, nothing, just you're focusing on your breath. You're just gently doing an attitude of gratitude. And if there is anything going on in your mind, you just dump it over a voice note or on your phone or on a paper. And then you're just starting your day with an intention. No task, nothing, but just one intention of how do I want to feel today? Or how do you want to show up today? So it's like it just takes 2 minutes of your day in the morning. But if you set it up, it becomes a routine, because that's what I do. Before I put my feet down on the from the bed, I'm just wide awake, doing my attitude of gratitude, just putting an intention that, okay, today's day is going to be XYZ, the way I would want it to be, and then going down and then starting off my routine. So it's just an hour or two, as I said. But if, say, for example, if you skip it, then maybe when you're taking a shower, when you're brushing your teeth, you can utilize the time to go ahead and put that energy shifts in your day. The second can be maybe like, I just say it like it's like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the way you have it. So you have your breakfast routine, morning routine, you have your lunch routine, the midday routine, and the evening routine, which is your dinner routine. So it's like a non negotiable pause that you should have at the midpoint of your day where you are just kind of refueling yourself. Where, as I said, you can kind of take it's as simple as that, taking a glass of water, charging that water, and you are just drinking that water slowly, not like gulping it faster, but very slowly. You're just drinking that water because that's the time for the pause. You're stepping outside of your comfort, but then you're just utilizing as simple as water to recharge in the midday. So it's a midday reset. It takes another a minute or two, but your body feels really very nice because you get disconnected from all the clutter, and then just taking 3 deep breaths and you get back, start your session or your work or things that you're doing. And then again, the evening transitions, of course, I do that before sleep. Of course, the daily sessions that I have with my students. Post that, I just kind of close my day with a simple affirmation saying that, okay, I'm thankful for everything that has been done today, and I let go of all the blockages that are there, and I'm having good, peaceful sleep. So you just put that intention again for yourself. So you choose one thing and you allow that things to just go ahead and work out for yourself. So you can have these kind of anchors set for yourself: morning, maybe breakfast, lunch, dinner, before sleep. So I do this 3 part thing. You can have 4 part, 5 part, 6 part as well. So maybe you can spend just 1 minute and just go ahead and start off your day with. So this is all about the renew framework that I have been practicing. This is something which has helped me to manage the burnout and heal, because as I said, the difference between managing burnout and healing is it's not like I need to say the most important thing of the entire things right now. But most people in burnout are not healing themselves, they're just managing it. And you need this structured way of balancing yourself, managing things. And if you feel that you would need any personal guidance in terms of how to do it for your specific situation and scenarios, you can just send me a WhatsApp message and I can take that forward with you, helping you to get that structure, which is very, very specific to you as a person. So with that, I would kind of close the session for today, because I just want you to kind of go back and remind yourself that burnout is not about being tired. It is a misalignment and identity signal. And we have spoken about these 3 different forces: the arrival fallacy, the invisible load, and the identity erosion. So, are you feeling connected to any of these? Then the renew framework, which addresses things at all the layers for your recovery, and then also thinking about what can be the anchors that you can set for yourself. So managing burnout is not the same as healing it, and only healing it is worth your time. So there would definitely be a lot of other frameworks, but for today, I think this is something which is what I thought of I'll share with you, and kind of open up of what I have been actually practicing it. So if you feel that this is somewhere you felt connected, I am here to kind of hear your feedback and your experiences. Great, thanks. Thanks, Devi. Makes sense. All your last few lines were there. Thanks for that. So if there's something that you would want to share or talk about, you can just go ahead, put it into the chats or unmute yourself and kind of let me know. But I'm pretty sure that this would have definitely helped you to get that awareness, because once
Yeah,
you have your awareness, that helps. Yeah, go ahead, Vikrant.
yeah, ma'am. Two honest questions, and I believe I think we're leaving this session with answers to be answered by the inner Vikrant or the inner self.
Right.
Can't promise about me coming back tomorrow and getting all the answers. I can't do that. Uh, Maybe that is time and life teaches through these wisdoms.
Hmm.
Throughout the session, ma'am, I observed you never gave healing through, but the body could recognize it coming through a voice sense or an energy sense or this omnipresent energy all around. The third eye started with
Hmm.
its warmthness, and then towards some healing done at the lower back, maybe because of the so-called challenging,
Hmm.
materialistic situation in my life. Uh, to be consistent around these healings, ma'am, I think we are all on a path of doing it consistently towards a day,
True.
right?
Yes.
But yeah, definitely a blissful one, a lovely one. Yeah.
Great.
Thanks for that. And yeah, God
Thanks.
bless you.
Thank you. Thanks, Vikrant, for sharing that. And thanks, Priya, for sharing inputs on the chat. Yes, though I would have not kind of said that, okay, I'm giving the healing right now and guiding through you. But as I mentioned, that today's session is all about bringing that awareness. And while that awareness has been getting generated for each one of you, you have felt the healings that are happening around. Because whenever I do the sessions, there is also the healing part, which is always included in it. So when you are getting these realizations and we're understanding that path of things when I have been explaining, that's one of the other ways of how the healings are happening to you. So thanks for sharing that, Vikrant, and of course the sensations that you felt. And thanks, Priya, that definitely there is this healing which has happened here in the session. And it has kind of created more awareness for each one of you so that the further sessions that we're doing and the healings on a daily basis will kind of expedite and maybe bring in a lot of exponential positive results for each one of you. So thank you for sharing that. Great. So awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining in for our session today. And if there is anything needed, just feel free to send us a WhatsApp message and we will connect back to you. And one important thing I wanted to close the session with is that I choose me. That's very, very important that you are choosing yourself. So if you can start kind of going and closing the session with I choose me, then that's something which is what will make it more powerful for me because that's a key message for today. Great. Awesome. So thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the day, and we will connect back soon. Thank you. Thanks, Priya. Thank you, everybody.
Recording stopped.
Something which is what will make it more powerful for me because that's a key message for today. Great. Awesome. So thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the day, and we will connect back soon. Thank you. Thanks, Priya. Thank you, everybody.
Recording stopped.
Something which is what will make it more powerful for me because that's a key message for today. Great.